Welcome to the next part of my Chrono Trigger playthrough. This is Mount Woe. And if you don't have the skills prepared and the right combinations of team members, the boss for this area will truly bring you woe. It's also smart before you go to get anything you don't have yet. And as you can see, the prices are kind of high. But it's also the best weapons and armor at this point in the game. So you want to go up, grind your gold at least, and max out on all the weapons and armor on everybody. And that'll also help increase their points. Let's see. Yeah, by the time you leave Mount Woe, you'll definitely have Chrono at least have every technique he can get in this game. He's basically done and is just grinding for levels after that point. And if you're like me and you played with Meryl in your party the most after the castle, because she's a healer, she'll be very close to maxing out all of her techniques too. Plus the combo of lightning 2 and ice 2, really great on them birds. Alright, as you can see, I've been avoiding these little stone guys. That's because once you kill them, because the amount of experience and tech points they drop, they don't regenerate like the rest of the monsters. So for this part of the grind, getting to the top, I'm avoiding them, just picking up all the items I can find. There's a lot of items. I think it's 75% of the items are healing items. There are a number of save points. So even the game's design seems to be designed for you to grind here, since I think there's at least 3 save points in the dungeon itself. So it's basically telling you, take the time, get your techniques up. Be prepared for a rough boss. And this fog really makes it difficult to see anything clearly. So even if you try to avoid fights, you can't really avoid fights. And this area is actually pretty big. It's a shame that once you beat the boss, you can't come back here again, because it would make a fantastic grind spot for any time you need it, if it wasn't that it was one shot. And because they're so hard to see, I'm looking for the little blue flashes, because I couldn't remember if there was a capsule hidden here or not. Because as you can see in the fog, once I got away from the save point, it really fades out in the fog. And that's the same with the capsules. And I know there's at least one on this mountain. And I did come back to the beginning area, mainly to get the chest I forgot the first time through. And I'll show how to fight these. The easiest way is in auto battle. They lock out your techniques, so your only choice is physical attacks. They don't run away. Oh, no, they do run away if you don't do enough damage. My bad. But if you can kill them, they drop a ton of experience. Boss level or higher tech points and a good bit of gold. And now we got Cure 2. Yeah, that's actually one of her best spells. As you can see, I still have a lot of stone helms on people. at this point in the game. And doing what I just did can save you having to rebuy or buy more equipment than you really need, saving you on gold, at least for your first run through. In New Game Plus, it doesn't matter. You can buy 99 of them and keep them in your inventory if you want. And to be honest, by the end of your first playthrough, consumable-wise, you'll probably be maxed out on all your consumables just from enemy drops. There's a lot of good items on this mountain. So take your time, try to find them all, hidden in the fog. And don't worry about running into the monster fights other than how much hit points and magic points you have. Because you're going to need every ounce of experience and tech points you can get. That's how tough this boss is. Unfortunately, the equipment, I don't think there's any weapons. So it's all just armors. There's some nice armors you can get here. One full set of the platinum we just got. Then there's a helmet that protects you from stopping slow. Fortunately, later in the game, its defense isn't as good as what you need. Like this battle just showed just how tough those little imps are. So it's not just that you broke them off from the birds, to having to hit them twice. But before you beat the boss, even if you're strong enough, it's on your first playthrough, or at least while you're below level 99, every time you come here, try to take out those rocks before taking on the boss, even in your future playthroughs in New Game Plus, just for everything they drop. So I'd set the goal to make sure at least Lucia has her fire too, before I attempt the boss. Because one, that gives these three their triple attack. And it'll also give her and Frog their triple tech attack. I can't think of anybody else that would get a triple tech at this point. They sure do love having these mobs that wipe out your entire hit points and then attack you. And you definitely heal up after that. Now, I overthought taking these guys out. My magic just isn't strong enough to one-shot him at this point. I'd have been better off just attacking with my weapon. Because they will confuse everybody. And that's exactly what happened this first time facing them. And when you're confused, I think your hit rate goes out the window. And also at this point in the game, you don't have any helmets that protect you from confusion. And for some reason, most of your status protection effects are on the helmets in this game. Unfortunately, she doesn't have fire too, and that's what kinda hurt, because the only two people that have had level 2 elemental attacks that attack the whole screen at this point was Chrono and Meryl that were on my team. I don't even think Frog has water 2 yet. This fight got really drug out because, and actually shows, I was nowhere near ready to face the boss. I did do a lot of off-camera grinding to be able to fight the boss. I'll be honest, if that fight lasted any longer, I'd have just kept the part of it, would have kept just a part of it and edited out the rest until the battle was over. Because with that confusion status and that many of them, that fight is almost as rough as a boss battle. And that'll also happen to you if you're level 99 in the new Game Plus. That can happen to you. Alrighty, we got Fire 2 and Fire Sword. And our triple tech. And this is the save point leading up to the boss, I believe. Yes, it is. And as you're about to see with my levels and everything, he's just going to wipe the floor with me. But there's the capsule I've been searching everywhere for. And if I am in this version, they have an autosave before the major boss fights. And this one is one of the ones it's kind of hard to get away from the boss once you go in. You can do it, but it's kind of hard. The key to beating this guy is to take out both of his hands that are doing all the damage and the healing. And this combination of characters, even though they've got that triple tech, just don't have the speed to be able to pull it off constantly. Especially since it seems to slow them down. And this is me going in with the continuation. I had to try. My only mistake was I didn't double check all their equipment. And there's really not much I could do. And as you can see, he can get off even with Alla, who's currently the fastest person you can pull in. He can get those 2 attacks off before you have a chance to even move the cursor. full screen skills just aren't powerful enough to do the damage you need. And their one group spell, that triple tech, isn't fast enough to pull off constantly. So we'll end it after this loss, and I'll go grind out. And I'll see you next time.